Come in.
Is there a sign-in sheet?
I can make one.
I have an extra one.
I've got it digital
I
here.
mean, I don't need one, I just usually there is one.
Very
There should be one.
prepared here.
You're right.
We got 12-2 here.
And then right before we get started, I just want to announce we are live streaming, so we're now on YouTube. It's there for the new person in the room. This is being live streamed.
I was wondering where that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now I just have the agenda up, but our audio is up now.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's do introductions and then we'll get started. Would anyone like to start?
I'm Kim Rasmussen. I play in fifth, third, and first.
That's correct.
My name is Eduardo, and my son Felix is in second grade.
Oh, I'm Paul, and my son's kindergarten. I have to remember that.
I'm Linda, the family liaison.
Diego DePaz, I am the principal of Bancroft School.
I'm Brady Schmidt, communications, PTO, and I have a son in kindergarten.
And who's on your left?
And this is Sam, sorry, Sam's 3, and his twin sister couldn't make it today, so he's with dad, so.
Excuse me, I'm Sarah, I have a daughter in second grade, and I'm secretary for the PTO.
I'm Nicole, I'm the school president of PTO, and we have kiddos in kindergarten and second grade.
Norma Alejandro Matson, intern assistant principal.
I'm Monica, I'm an AE here at Bancroft, and I also have the same second grader and kindergartner with Nicole.
I'm Tana, and I have a kindergartner here in the 2-year-old level, the old one.
Okay, do we have the financial update? Did you receive that? Linda, did you receive anything? That's okay.
Kimberly said there's no approval
Okay.
update when she gets
Okay.
here, I think.
Okay. We'll wait for that. We'll just table that until she gets here. Can we get a turkey bingo recap?
It was great. I loved it.
Next item.
Gonna be done.
It was great. We had, I would say, at least 450 people, because we counted about 420 people that ate food. And then there were a number of families that didn't eat food as well. They had either already eaten or just went right into the bingo gym. So I would say we had at least 450 people. It was packed. I heard a lot of positives from families. I'm always open to feedback too to make it even a better experience for everyone. This year we did give away chickens as well as turkeys. We had about 10 or 12 frozen chickens that we also gave away in an attempt to be a little more culturally responsive. I think every family went home with something, whether it was a turkey in a basket, a chicken in a basket, a $5 gift card. We also gave away Mall of America, Nickelodeon Universe tickets, and so it's just like and we gave away piñatas that one of our families made for us, and so there's just lots of giveaways, and I think it was just a really fun atmosphere. And we were able to showcase our kitchen, so Minneapolis Public Schools did the catering, and we were able to use our kitchen and cook the food on site, and families went through the lanes of food just like
It just depends.
So I think that was a really cool thing too to showcase how our food service runs. We did exactly how the kids do it. We had the 2 lanes or the 2 lines, went through the windows, through the salad bar, and then checked out with Miss Ruby. So hopefully parents and families were able to enjoy themselves and play some bingo and just have a good time. So.
Have we received an invoice for that yet? Okay, just let us know.
No.
Linda, you will let me know.
I'm not sure who it'll come to, but it's,
Okay, but we
yeah.
will pay
Well, and they-
whatever's left over.
yeah, I think it'll come
This one too.
to,
Probably come to the school.
when they come to the school and then they know that PTO is paying for it minus 300, which
Great.
is going to be paid,
Okay.
so.
Cool. Great, yeah, just let us know when that happens, and then we'll have an update on that to figure out, is this cost effective, does this make sense, how would it work?
So,
Cool.
I haven't been here for, I don't know, probably a month or a couple months, so how was that usually done with the turkey? I was wondering where all the donations come from, or who bought the turkeys? And
Great, so, great question, and I neglected to say that when I was doing the introductions, and thank the many people who were participating, but it's a staff contest, and so all of the staff here at Bancroft are divided into 3 teams, and we raise money, so it's all staff, person donations, that buy all of the turkeys and, fixings, and then we have, one of our staff members, or we have a partnership with UPS, some people at one of the local UPS centers, and they are the ones that put all the baskets together and put all the stuff in the bins and then tie them up and then transport them here to school. And so they were also there that night serving food and making sure that all the stuff was given away for a good cause.
So to be more clear, the teachers or the staff that are on those teams raise money from other places, or they?
No, just out of our own pockets.
I mean, some people might
Some
like
people
reach
might
out to
get their
friends and family,
relatives
but
or
yeah.
people, but I know most of us just, donate $20, $10, $100, $200, and it all goes to our families. So that's where the turkeys and all the money comes from, and I don't know if you've come in, or when it was up, we had the turkey challenge in the main hallway, by the health office, and that was. Yeah. So that showed.
Sorry, we're no worries.
So that showed the teams, and then how much each team raised.
I might be mistaken, but I think UPS provides all the fixings. I think all we pay for is the turkey.
Yeah.
So I think the UPS staff donate all the sides that go with it in the broiler basket.
And all of our, all the staff money donations go towards the turkeys, the chickens, and the
gift cards.
gift cards.
Which those pan baskets, excellent idea. I actually used it. I've never used one before, but the turkey is so big it wouldn't fit.
The UPS relationship, is that, just every year somebody, you write a grant to UPS, or how does that establish?
So one of our staff members, Lisa Hartman, who is our math specialist, she's friends with a couple of the people. And so it's just been that relationship through that friendship that they've, every year they pick somebody to work with, and they always pick our school for Turkey Bingo.
Mhm.
And so I think there's like 6 or 7 of the UPS workers that are friends with Lisa, and they support our school that way.
And they were behind the counters
Yes.
that evening?
Yep.
Cool.
Know that.
Yep, and so again, like I said, I neglected to thank everybody and all the teachers there that volunteered also, and some of our IB ambassadors that were the ones passing out the tickets when people were calling bingo. And so there was just a lot of moving parts and a lot of people supporting the night. So I'm
And the
very
new cards
grateful.
and the counters all looked.
Yeah, we
Oh,
need more.
we need more markers.
More, yeah.
We were very short.
Yeah.
I think they just weren't equitably distributed because.
They weren't, but we still need more because people are tearing
it's
up
just,
napkins.
that's too hard to
and
figure out.
using
Yeah.
paper as their markers.
And you know that, so I'll.
Yes.
Why more now so we don't get into this,
Yeah.
So it'd be good to have more dots.
Sounds good.
Yep. And we had, I think, what did Heidi put out, 475 chairs, and I think they were all, it was filled, so.
Great. Do you have a sense of how many more we should get? They're pretty cheap, I guess.
Yeah.
Get a lot, but.
I have no idea. how
Okay.
many.
There were 1,000 per bag, and I we did 2 more bags.
Right.
1,000.
We got one
The
right
sign-in
here.
sheets over there too.
And I mean, that's from the school perspective, I don't know from the family or parent perspective, just that attended Turkey Bingo, what their thoughts were.
It was my first year. I thought it was really cool going through the line like my kids. And, I was actually kind of impressed. I mean, with the way, the process of it, it seemed to flow pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, it was our first year as well. Yeah, it was overwhelming. The fun we had, it was just a cool event, so I was really happy with it.
Well, and it just, I'm glad the dinner went well. I know the lines were long, but they seemed to move pretty quickly. But that was the first time we've done that for a big event like this. And so it was the first time for a lot of us. So it went from, well, maybe the school can make pizza, we thought just pizza, but then the district said, well, it has to be more than just pizza, it has to be a meal if we're gonna get reimbursed for the students. So then we had to add on a salad bar, but. I think it went, yeah, I think it went as well, and
Well, I wonder if for the sake of just archiving, if there's a way that we could make transparent the email chain that sort of fleshed out all those details, so that that'll be part of the record?
Or at least even the invoice from.
Yeah.
Because we have a direct connection to the culinary folks at the district.
Yeah.
And so just even that invoice of what exactly was ordered and then how many and how much and, yeah, so let's make sure that we do get that.
And also for process, because I know in that chain
Yeah.
there's a lot of bouncing back about
Yeah, who to
what are we
contact,
asking about exactly, and,
how many,
and
yeah.
because if it's repeated, which I thought would be great.
yeah,
Right.
I don't
yeah.
know what the money, but the process, getting that down, then real simple for next year.
Yeah.
And so Ruby, our kitchen coordinator, who's really awesome. I mean, there were a lot of things that she was not aware of either, and that her manager thought that she was aware of, and so there was a little bit of confusion, but now she knows how
Yeah.
things are working.
And we know more too, because we haven't been able to do this in the past because we haven't had a kitchen.
Right.
We did it once last year for our family arts night, but it's
Mhm.
much smaller.
And that
Yeah,
was,
that's a much smaller one.
none of our kitchen staff were involved in that.
Exactly, so
Yeah.
this was all new for us, and
Mhm.
we want to increase that partnership with Loris and use that kitchen.
And last year we ate in the gym, and this year we didn't
Mhm.
want food and water and drinks in the gym.
Good choice.
So,
Yeah.
and thankfully everybody followed those expectations and met those expectations, so we had the dinner in the cafeteria and had all our tables down, so.
I went back and was that with families meetings now.
Yep.
It's nice.
And I think it was spaced out enough where some families were finished eating and got to go into the gym,
Mhm.
and some more seats opened up,
Oh,
and so I
yeah.
feel it fortunately worked out
Mhm.
that night, so.
Sounds like it went well all around, and the things that we tried out worked.
Yep.
Cool.
I wonder then, if we're moving towards a wrap on this one,
Mhm.
if we should just, as a communications effort, figure out a metric, like a survey of families, or a way to just reach out and say, what did you think of the food part? What did you think about no eating in the gym part? And we've got family night coming up, you know, I don't know, this is my first time here, so I don't really know what that's gonna be. But if it's a matter of having a table at family night and just polling folks as a very basic form of trying to get feedback, and then we could get things like actual comments or just a measure. And for people who didn't attend, but they came to family night, it's also just another way of saying, hey, this is something to look out for next year. But I just don't know if we wanna
That's a
put
good
the
idea.
effort in
Yeah.
to sort of get a metric on
I mean, that's,
this.
yeah, I feel like that's a pretty simple thing that we can do. Is anyone going to be available to be at the PTO table, at a PTO table on Family Arts Night?
December 12th,
Yeah. Thursday.
5 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah, but if there's also, you know, like a Facebook survey, Google survey it, or Google form it, and then push it out on Facebook, or whatever. I mean, I know there are tools that we could, you know, sort of make available and
Yeah,
figure out a wider reach, but at the very basic, standing at a table saying, did you like it?
right, yeah.
Right.
What did you like, what didn't you like? Did it work, didn't?
Oh, and again, I'm just gonna say one more thing, just to, so people understand how, everybody understands how we counted the meals. So we don't have to pay for anybody who, or any children 18 or under, but we had to keep track of all of them. So we had our students in there, we had a sign-up, sheet we could just mark off, a check mark, but then the kids who are not currently students here had to have their first and last name. And then all adults was just a counter. But that's how they keep track of.
And we only get charged for adults
Adults.
and adults.
And I was actually pleased to see that most plates, children's plates, did have fruits and vegetables on them.
Yeah, well, they're used to that process.
Yeah.
Did that
I
system
also
work?
think it was pretty amazing that you were able to track that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when I went through the line, you were just like, gotcha, Henry, you guys, you're good.
Yeah,
It
And I was
took,
like,
I mean, it was like a steep
okay,
learning
you don't have
curve,
to
but
like
it's,
scan.
it was definitely a multi-person job, so.
But it was, to somebody who had participated, it seemed like you guys
Great, okay.
were like the eye in the sky.
Yeah, it was totally seamless. When I got to
Yeah.
the end with Silas, I thought I needed to fill out a form or something, and I was surprised how quickly I was able to sort of leave the line and go. And I ran into, got a picture of you guys, and, so yeah, it was cool.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay, let's do introductions of people who stepped in during that conversation.
Just my name and.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Greta and I have a kindergartner in the stimulus class.
Justin, I have a first grader in Miss Simpson's class.
Kimberly, same first grader, and also the PTO treasurer.
I'm Jack. I have a kindergartner in Miss Jill's class.
Sorry we were late.
The PTO.
Yeah,
So
first time, happy
Let's,
to be here.
let's
Yeah.
go around and do introductions again then. I'm Nicole, I'm the PTO co-president and have a kindergartner in this class and a second grader.
Norma Alejandro is John Christopher. Welcome. Monica, I'm an 8 here, and I have a second. Pretty curious. Oh, I've heard lots about her. Good thing.
I'm Tana, I have a kindergartner in Mrs. Marquardt's class. I'm Kim Rasmussen, and I've got 3 fifth grade, 3rd grade, and 1st graders.
Nailed it, yeah.
Jack again. Hey.
I'm Eduardo, my son is in second grade, Miss class. Could I also offer to do something that I think most people don't like to do for meetings, but check on the time so if we're going over a little bit because
Yeah.
last time I was here kind of
Yeah.
took a long time.
I'm Paul, I've got a kid in Miss Kira's kindergarten class.
Linda, family liaison.
Diego, principal.
Hey Brady, I'm in communications with PTO and I'm also with 105 kindergartner.
Hi.
So, nice to meet you.
Sarah, I have a second grader in Miss Lee's class and I'm secretary for teaching.
We're about 6 minutes for the family arts night.
Yep.
And we skip financial.
Yeah, can we get a really quick financial?
You can. Yay, we raised over $7,200 in the readathon. That's really fantastic. I'm super excited. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to the staff and teachers of the school because for Turkey Bingo, they raised $240 additional dollars that will be put into Target gift cards that will be given out to families for a variety of needs over the course of the year. Additionally, we have $360 to be deposited for our 5th grade camp. And I have recently written checks to support field trips for Snapology and supporting materials for 5th grade camp.
Cool. Any questions?
Well, the last thing
And
you
our
said-
budget is doing very well.
The last thing you said for camp?
Yeah, for 5th grade camp, so we support a
For
lot of
next
things
year?
related to that. It's in spring.
Well, no, they just had
No,
it.
they
No, the one they just had. Yeah, it was like their t-shirts and.
Okay.
Yeah, reimbursement.
Yeah,
I thought you were
reimbursements.
matching
No,
something in
no,
the
no, no,
future,
no,
and I was
no,
like,
no, this was,
we do
this
another
was,
camp?
yeah.
No, reimbursements for t-shirts and
Yeah,
possibly some snacks and
Yeah.
stuff that we brought.
Oh, one thing, there was it just reminds me, I had, there was a, ESP, educational support professional organizer who was working with some of the, AEs, associate educators around the district. He stopped by and he had expressed interest in coming tonight, to help, express, or get parent support for some of the things that the AEs are doing. In budget negotiations, but he did not contact me back.
I think they actually have bargaining tonight, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one I think is tonight. We went 2 weeks ago. Really interesting to see that go down. Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. We went and there's a lot of information about what is being negotiated on the MFT website, which I didn't find out until afterwards. I was trying to follow it all. But it was really helpful to read that and to just learn about all of the amazing work that ESPs and AEs do. And yeah. So the MFT.org, I think, is the website.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, family arts nights. I don't think there's much to do there, but I know that, Paul, you were interested in, I just wanted to kind of get an update from Paul about the any connections that you made. with-
Right.
Yeah.
So, none.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
Right, yeah.
Right,
In a couple of email back and forths, I think we sort of went with the Family Arts Night as a specialist teachers kind of endeavor. And rather than try to compete with the programming that they have, and we would not do any of that cultural celebration stuff and try to work it into that evening. Instead, try to work it in the new year towards spring. One thing that still has to happen is for me to connect with that instructor that you talked about, who connects with the Somalian families here, and sort of have that direct exchange. But otherwise, for Family Arts Night, we're going to go with what they've already got planned. Particularly, I think, because there's a first grade performance
There's a first
that
grade
wasn't
and a second
known
grade performance, yeah.
when we had our last meeting.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that's just so everyone knows, the Family Arts Night is on Thursday, the 12th.
Yep.
From 5 to 7. Paul, you said that you're gonna be there, and Sarah, you said that you could help at the table
I
as
think I
well.
can, as long as it's not during the second grade performance.
Same for us, except for
Yeah.
first grade.
So last year we had some different groups tabling, like local, like music instructors and
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. It's a really fun night, I know
Yeah.
that, and there's gonna be food provided through the district again, I'm not sure exactly what they're
No,
doing.
we
Yeah.
ordered Pat Lorenzo's today.
Okay, never mind. Speaking of pizza. You mind go get it? Hello? Do you need to check? Hello?
Yeah, and I mean, Sue's been
Excellent.
more hands-on with that. I've been super.
Yeah,
hands-on
someone will be
with
at
all
door
the
1 in
things
just a moment,
they need.
at the main door. Perfect. Yep, they'll be there in a second. Thank you so much. Bye.
Which door?
Door 1, where are we eating? Cafeteria. Well, they're in the cafeteria, the pizza's in the cafeteria. I don't know where we're eating.
And
I'm not sure.
you put that on the card.
Yes.
And is it Amy downstairs?
So for Family Arts,
This, and then
Yeah.
go downstairs and.
oh yeah, I just wanted, so could there be an email, or I could even take charge of it, just finding other tablers and organizing shifts or something? Because I mean, I'd sit at a table, but I also want to see stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I'll have my kid with me, so I want to be able to interact with them during this. So we could, I could
Great.
certainly, we could work that out between
Yeah.
you and me maybe, or whatever.
Yeah, figure out
That
what
would
the
be
shifts
great.
are, and
Yeah.
I'm sure people would jump in for 20 minutes and,
Just do an email out type
Yeah,
thing
just
to
get people, yeah.
the group here.
yeah.
So for everybody, myself and Alicia was married, and I would most likely be able to be there and help out too.
Okay.
Take a shift, probably confirm that.
I know Alicia will be there because her band is playing.
Oh.
She'll for sure be there.
Whether she can't take a shift during a band.
Yeah. And I believe she'll be watching Sebastian at some point too. And
Yeah.
Then I'll probably watch it the best.
Okay, well, we're actually exactly on time right now.
Just one last question. Will there then be, are we going to grab people to sort of question them about the turkey bingo night then? So should we have a list of questions drawn up that we might want?
Yeah,
to ask, or-
I think, I imagine we could probably have that, well, unless you wanna tackle that now, but what is a basic metric that we want? But we could organize that over email for anyone that jumps on to want to, just get an email chain going. So once we get the shifts going, and then we could sort of just pass that around, does that work, so that we don't have to necessarily eat into this time?
That's good.
And if you're not gonna take a shift, I wasn't sure if you raised your hand, we could also
No,
just have, be
we'll-
part of the email
we'll
chain.
take a shift.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, cause I figure, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go get pizza and have breakfast, get some pizza.
So are we gonna eat it down there or bring it back here?
Brenda.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the idea, generally.
Okay. We are on to the book fair recap and the March plan for the book fair that's going to happen over portfolio night. And so we got the final invoice from Red Balloon. Our sales were $1,537.58. We ended up getting a percentage of that in a gift card, which was $300. And so we can expect that our March one will be substantially larger. It always is because portfolio night is better attended than, and it's all in one go, and grandparents come, etc. So my only things for that are that we will make sure that we have 2 iPads available for checkout. And I know that last month we talked about having a possible teacher book request idea. And as long as, with this company that we're working with Red Balloon, as long as we get those a month ahead of time, they should be able to get those on the tables for us for the fair. So that is something that we can do. They can order special books for us that we want. And we can set those aside and have them, designated as such and get those to the teachers who want them. So that is I think it's a totally possible thing. The other thing that came up was an online preview. And they do go through Dropbox because they're a smaller company. The preview would just be a list of titles, which if that's enough for us, then that's great. They don't take a picture of every book cover and put it on their Dropbox because that would be tedious and time consuming. So if we're interested in something like that, where we could send that not a Dropbox, sorry, what is it? Square, there we go.
Foursquare? No.
Square.
Square, it's just called Square.
Yeah.
Like the credit card reader?
Yes. They go through Square, not Dropbox. Square, sorry. Square is where their POS goes through. So we can see it, but it'll just be titles. And if we're cool with that, then it's great.
And again, this is for teachers to suggest or request books to be available for sale during the book fair?
Yeah, so I think the idea, and let me know if I read the minutes correctly or not, was that teachers could request books. They could be available during the book fair, and we would have a list of books that teachers wanted, and then parents
that they
could
wanted,
buy
like,
those.
for their class.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, not that they would suggest books to be available for sale.
I mean, which would be
Like
helpful
either
in
option.
some ways, but
Yeah.
Red Balloon, they had a really great selection, so
Yeah.
I'm not as concerned about that, but yeah, so that parents could buy books for their classrooms then.
We did that the year we were at Northrop, that worked great.
Yeah, not something similar to what we did when I was teaching, is we had Scholastic, so there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, so then I would just say like, these 5 books would be great for 5th graders, and I have my list,
Yeah.
of this is a good one, this is a good one, and then parents could go and find.
Sorry, friends, this is downstairs.
Sorry for the interruption.
Parents could go and find those books, and then we also had a teacher wish list. So I previewed the book fair, and I said, okay, this book would be great for our classroom, and I would put little notes in my Mr. DePaz pocket, so parents could pick one out and be like, oh, Mr. DePaz wants the Tale of Dustboro, we'll buy that one for him, and that's how that works.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Scholastic does make these sorts of things easier.
Well, we could do some kind of display too in the room, like support your classroom, these are the books that, we could figure out another way to get parents, grandparents to buy books to dedicate to classes,
Yeah.
in addition to being able to do it.
They might have a system too, did they say they do?
You know, it's pretty bare bones.
Okay.
But I haven't sought a lot of this information yet. We just signed the agreement for March, but I will look into see what they offer. But I think that we can totally make something happen here that bolsters the book fair and encourages people.
So who does it? The committee? Do you need people on that committee?
I'm in the committee. Yes, that would be great. Who else is interested in helping with that?
Like write that down.
Who else is interested in helping with that March book fair in a more?
Well, we can certainly table.
Really busy at that point.
Oh, the plant sale, that's right.
Sorry, we are out in the spring for everything.
Jump on that.
Yeah, at some point, we do need to talk about the PTO calendar and thinking about, like, I do 3 things right off the bat, and then I don't do anything for the rest of the year, because I do Spirit Wear, Readathon, and the book fair, which don't have to, like, I don't have to own those, they're not mine, right? But I just have in the past, and so, some timing on this would be great, just like spreading it out just a little bit better throughout the year, and seeing where there might be some holes, would be probably a good idea. But is anyone interested in helping with the March book fair?
What is the date?
It is,
March 5th, I believe.
Is that a Thursday too?
let me just double check.
I'm 60% sure.
I'm 70% sure I can help, I'm not
Yeah, so portfolio night
Oh,
is
10%.
just that night, is that Thursday night.
March 5th, I was right.
Yeah, you remember. But we do have the book fair booked from March 2nd to March 6th, it's that whole week. Now, policing that, and it's a struggle, and that's a lot of hours during the day, and getting kids to stay out of the media center and using the media center in that way when they have classes here, it's kind of cumbersome. So I'm open to ideas for that, but again, if you're interested in helping, not even necessarily on that day, but just with the logistics of making it all happen, let me know. Yes.
I'm interested, I hesitate only because I know there's so many great things and I'd like to.
Help with
Like
the
now,
plans.
like
What's
sale.
going on? Plant sale. Potentially some other cultural events being planned, so is there an opportunity to kind of see a calendar and have everybody sign up for different things to try to fill
I
up?
just added to my list to create a calendar of future events.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good thing, but it might not be ready till.
Yeah, when is the?
It's
so-
Mother's Day weekend.
But of course,
May.
it starts before then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The work
Right.
starts
No,
before.
it's already started,
Yeah.
It starts to get busy
probably
month
February.
or so.
Yeah. And do we have any other things scheduled though, as a PTO for the rest of the school year? Spirit Wear is happening right now, we're gonna have an update on that soon, plant
Do
sale.
we do anything for roller garden, or is that purely the school?
School does.
Just the school.
Okay.
But we will have some surveys, and so for budget time, because that's when budgets are gonna start, well, budgets will come out in February, but we'll start surveying people in January about priorities and shit like that. So,
So is Family Arts Night, is that a school thing too, or is that a PTO thing? It's a school thing.
so,
Maybe it'd be helpful to have like a merged calendar where we could have like all the school events plus the PTO events. And so, yeah, just to get an idea, and then for people that are on committees that are planning additional things around those events, we can slot those in a little bit better.
I think the only other thing might be a carnival.
Don't look at me.
I'm looking at you. But that would, really, that's what's left, the March book fair and the plant sale.
Yeah, it's really just heavy in the fall.
Yeah, which I think we do need to work out somehow, maybe even.
But I
the
just want
second
everybody to know
week.
it's all hands on deck Mother's Day weekend. Cause it's really, it's a show,
It's
is what
real.
it is, it's unbelievable, it was overwhelming last year, I ordered
It went
all the
great,
wrong
though.
things.
It went
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah,
well.
there were some behind the scenes things that happened.
She still wakes
I
up in the middle of the
almost
night.
passed
Wakes
out
up
on
in the
your
middle of
loading
the night.
dock.
oh, when the truck wasn't.
When the truck
covering-
pulled up and it was
All
all
wrong.
baskets and no hanging baskets, and I was like, huh, what's happening here? It's okay, we work with really great team
I
houses.
didn't know if
We
the
should move on,
room
yeah,
for
put
the
me down.
we should move
I
on.
would like to help with the book fair too.
Great,
That's
thank
more up
you.
my alley, and I'm out of town for Mother's Day.
Please remind me your name, so I can.
Tan, like Montana.
Alright,
Spirit
Okay.
Wear update, we're a little behind.
yep, we are, but I will be quick. Spirit Wear is, the sale is happening right now, they're due on Wednesday. I know that they were on the sign out tables today, I know that there's been information hopefully, we've gotten a lot already, and hopefully we'll continue to get more spirit reforms. And after the sale, I'm happy to talk about it again and figure out if it worked and what we should offer, et cetera. I did change some things on there per what was discussed in the last PTO meeting.
Do you need help tallying? Putting the order in?
No, I'll need help distributing. Yeah. So distribution will happen. How's that? Yeah, before winter break. Yep. So is anyone interested in helping distribute, get the clothes to the right piece of paper and to the right kid?
So closer to classes?
When would that take place?
And those last 3 days, I mean, not obviously that whole time, but the 18th, 19th, and 20th of December.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, great.
Just like,
Sorry.
was that at the next school, like?
Yes. Yeah, everything will be delivered to the school, and we just have to sort it all out.
Is that during the day?
Yes, it'll most likely be during the day or right after school. I mean, really, whenever anyone can do it. It's nice to get it out before winter break. And then Paul, you mentioned school identity as a thing, like a branding.
Well, it was really just a discussion point, because I like to talk.
Okay. Okay, cool.
But it was brought
Didn't
up.
we talk about looking at your bulldog?
Yeah, it was at the last meeting.
And you didn't do it?
Didn't do
Okay,
that.
alright,
Yeah,
I'm just
so
gonna
it's on the
rule
principal.
that. That's fine.
Drop the ball. I didn't look
Will
at
you-
bulldog mascots.
Bring it next round.
Well, so my memory of it, just to sort of catch folks up, was that there isn't really a school. It was during Spirit Word discussion and about the bulldog we had, and we sort of realized that we didn't really have necessarily a bulldog that worked well as a logo on a one colored shirt, and that there were other Bancroft bulldogs that literally also existed that had cooler bulldogs. And then that's where we transitioned into what is our bulldog? What is our logo? Should we think about identity? Do we reach back to alumni who might want to participate in, and then there was this talk about creating an art piece or soliciting suggestions for an art piece as part of the improvement, the betterment, I forget what the phrase was, of campus, or the school grounds.
Infrastructure
There we go,
investment.
thank you, infrastructure investment. So that's kind of, I think there were like 3 buckets that we sort of, covered with the talk of, we need a better bulldog.
Yeah, this has actually been a conversation for years. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as I've been involved in the school, it's been a conversation.
Should we have a committee on that then, or form a committee on that? I'd be on a committee for that.
About the bulldog?
Yeah, for the whole school identity.
I think the effort for a committee, absolutely, was whether or not we would dig through a
Yep,
box of
archives.
archives that you said
Yep.
existed, because I think the committee's job would just be to look through.
Boxes.
Right.
That's not the top priority for.
Unfortunately,
You have
last
other
month
things to
has
do?
not
Is
been
that what
my
it is?
priority, but we'll make it a priority to have the right bulldog for our shirts.
I will say my son has bulldog pride. He's
Yeah.
like, a bulldog.
Yeah.
Great.
Um,
6 minutes.
Time if you want to catch
Can you come to all of my meetings?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I need
outreach
a
committee
timekeeper.
updates. Is that you?
That's me.
Excellent.
So I sent out to the other 2 members of my outreach committee like 5 hours ago an idea, so sorry it took a bit long. We had talked about, as one of the first things that we would do, try to do some outreach in advance of the school choice deadline in early February. It was not set last time I looked. I'll have to check if it's set. Potentially a door knock. Diego got a list from the district. They said there is, I think it was 1,800, maybe it was 1,100, 1,800 students that have been pre-screened, around the age of 3 that will be turning 5 in our region or our area before September next year. and sent us a list just of 400 of those that are in the Anderson and Northrop attendance areas, which she said is where we draw most of our current student body from. If anybody's interested, I printed a map, and I didn't send this to Paul, but it's not really that interesting, of just to give an idea of how spread out that looks. This is not the whole area, but it's basically like on most blocks, it's like one house or one or two, and then in some areas it's, you know, there's a few clumped together, and then there's blocks with nothing. So basically, my point is, it's not it's not a great walk list. We wouldn't want to just go to those doors. It would not be a good use of time, as you would expect. You would either want to hit, you know, knock on every door and be knocking on some that have different age school children, or find another way to reach those. So I wanted to propose 2 different options and see if there's a kind of preference at this table, or if there's an interest in us taking the question wider, though I think we need to act pretty quickly. So I think one option would be to just try and develop a postcard. This would be a bit cost dependent, figuring out what it would cost, but to just do a mailing, either to those 400 families in the area we draw most from, or potentially to the full list of 1,800, and to put on there preferably a couple pictures, but we have to see what that costs. Maybe it would just be text, a reminder about the upcoming school choice deadline, a reminder that there are any Tuesday and Thursday you can come and do a visit here, and preferably putting a number on there. Do we have a PTO number? If we could just like if we could designate, I thought it might be nice if we could designate a line where if they called the school, there was like a mailbox that is the parent mailbox that we would commit between this. I don't think it would be a great problem to have if we got a ton of calls, but basically saying, talk to a parent. You know, want to talk to a Bancroft parent? Call this number, a parent will call you back. And, you know, if you say what grade your child is entering, we'll try and match it with that or something, just so there's another inroad. But that, all of those pieces are, you know, sort of fungible, but the main question being we could price out what it would cost to just do a mailing. So that's option A. And option B is to do a mailing option B is to do a door knock, and then we could try to do both. If we try to do a door knock, I would suggest that obviously we're not going to try and hit that full list of 400, that we pick a small area close to the school because walkability is its own draw, and or that whatever parents want to volunteer to do the door knock, and this would be in January, that I would map the doors in like a 4-block area around your home, because we're the own best messengers, and you could knock those houses or knock all the houses in your neighborhood. We'd still probably want something to leave on those doors, and so probably either way we'd be talking about doing a postcard. So really I think the question is, what do people think of that idea of developing a postcard that's targeted towards getting interest in advance of school choice, and then how many people think, hey, you know, we should really also knock on some doors. And I would like to be one of the people that knock on doors, because that will help decide whether we try to organize that this year or not. Yeah.
In regard to the postcard idea, when I was, you know, had a kid that I got a bunch of postcards, but they were all like Spanish immersion, art specific, science specific, and I just pretty much just threw them in a pile because I figured they were gonna be expensive. You know, they're like specialty schools. So just a note to the common parent, you might want to put on there that it's a public school with an international focus. Yes, that's the word. You know, so that they know it's not gonna cost them an arm and leg to send their kid there automatically, so that they automatically know it's a consideration.
Sarah, I completely agree that there has to be something that's tangible that is going to accompany whatever it is, whether it's door knocking, whether, you know, regardless, there's got to be something. And I do think that, you know, something like a postcard, depending, you know, cost dependent, certainly could work, but this is a really, really cool school, and I don't think the reputation is caught up with how freaking good this place looks. And so just photos, you know, showing the diversity and showing just the grounds, or, you know, something like that. You have to pick and choose a couple 2 to 3 options depending on what side you're going with, but, I think that whatever this piece is, it has to include something like that just to really be effective, I think, but it's gotta be the way to go.
Okay. Other ideas, reactions?
Yeah.
Eduardo, were you saying?
Just a little question about, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but my sense is that right now, the enrollment target and kind of the way the enrollment is now and kind of like the lag of the funding that comes with the enrollment for the following year, where kind of is that trajectory?
So if I follow your question,
Yeah, I hope you do, because.
No, we're over our projected enrollment in kindergarten and first grade, which is good things.
Yeah.
Because then hopefully we can retain all of those families and students, and then that will matriculate on through the grades. Right now, our second and third grade are below our projection, and so that's where kind of our lull is right now. But if those kids continue to move up, we'll be full in every grade, and then we're trying to get our kindergarten at or over capacity when we start, so then we're not constantly getting new kids, and then our because our enrollment is connected to dollars, if we see if our projection is at or above, then we get an adjustment, or we move the next year, then we'll get more funding per pupil. And so our hope is to be full, come in to the school year, then that increases our funding as we move forward.
And what's our average attrition rate?
So somewhere between 10 and 12%. Well, they projected between 12 and 15%, but we've noticed it's about 10 to 12, depending on the grade level too. So this year we saw like minimal attrition in first grade, in kindergarten moving to first grade. And so I think it was like 7%. And so that's why we are still over in first grade. And then we had so many kids enroll for kindergarten, which is awesome. And we started over in every classroom. And we've lost a few now, so I think most of them are down to 25 or 26. But we did get an additional AE with our staffing adjustment. And so that person is Saida, and she's been on now for 2 weeks, and she's specifically for kindergarten, and then spends about an hour in first grade.
And I would say, since I have a second grader, that's probably like where my anxiousness started, with saying, oh, we're under enrolled, and so maybe this isn't necessary, though we really don't know what's driving the uptick and what'll be true from year to year. And I guess part of my interest too, and I don't know if that'd be possible in a postcard, but it's just promoting Minneapolis public schools, period. And so even if there's a way of saying on the card, like, this is about Bancroft, but it is a postcard that people would get with a personal, more personal reminder just of school choice coming up and directing them to the website. I never got anything like that from the public schools, and of course I'd like them to do it for everybody, but I sort of feel like that would be a side, even if it's not just driving kids to this school, if it's driving parents to participate in the school choice process.
Kind of the reason why I asked that is to kind of get an idea of, this is going to be a strategic targeted outreach type of thing, right? It's not like, let's spend a bunch of money on flyering everybody. And so to that end, like, if we have a better idea, and if also this would be an effort maybe toward the summer?
No,
Spring,
because
summer?
school choice is February,
Oh,
early February, so.
Right.
It's already open.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it open now?
closes.
So,
Closes.
closes in February. So like an
Closes in
example,
February.
tomorrow Joyce Preschool is hosting like a kinder info night, and so I know I'm gonna sit at the table there. I thought Alicia was gonna be there. But that, I know that a lot of charter schools go to these kinds of things and promote their charter school, and so I think, I'd say no, promoting Bancroft, but also promoting Minneapolis Public Schools, because we're down to about 1,000 kids district-wide, and 1,000 kids also equals, dollars for the Minneapolis schools that gets shifted up to the schools, and so we, Minneapolis is strong, and we're all strong, and so we need to make sure that kids are choosing our schools.
Do we know for sure that the kids that are leaving Bancroft are going outside of the district, or mix of both?
I don't know that. I mean, I can find that out, but I think there's a number of students that are, because Bancroft is different, because we're a magnet school, so we have the whole zone as our attendance area. A lot of our kiddos that live like right across the street go to Northrop. This is their boundary, their attendance area.
And Northrop has been oversubscribed in recent years, and I think I'm trying to figure out how to Well, in interest of time, let me just suggest, I also realized since starting this whole process that I'm gone the first 2 weeks of January. And I'm not hearing a ton of energy to do the knocking, and maybe, it's enough for this year, given both that enrollment is not at a crisis level and that we're trying something new, if, we focus on getting a postcard piece, and then to the extent that anybody wants some extras to knock specific doors in their neighborhood, we can make that available, but not really make that the focus. And I could try to bring a draft, or send around a draft, or bring a draft, just do some of the pricing, figure out who I do the pricing work with, and, bring kind of some options back to PTO. I think it would probably have to be not bringing it back to the next meeting, but sending something around later this month, so that we could see if we could have something ready in January, and if that's even an option.
I wonder if we create this card, and so now we have a resource, and, you know, I'm sure we all sort of do this with our own social circles. We talk about how great our school is, and, you know, with folks at my kids' old daycare, we sort of talk about, because we're still on Facebook together. And maybe it's a resource that can be distributed to other parents to sort of informally have their own door knockings. Really, it's like, you know, you got a play date with someone that wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, here's stuff that you could sort of hand out, and that could be kind of the social arena, the socialization of this. And then I was just sort of looking, there's, you know, because I live down in, I guess really in Northrop neighborhood, but we have board meetings, neighborhood board meetings, and it could be just kind of having parents in their neighborhoods attending some of those with some of this material. So if the material is created, I think we have a way of sort of spreading the word in our own little social circles is the point I'm making. That could be the effort rather than a mass door knock. How's that kind of sound? And then before I forget, regarding the phone number thing, you know, we could just get a PTO Google number.
We could,
And
yeah.
that becomes the
And
thing.
that's actually probably easier than trying to get one through the district
Yeah.
at school, and then having to try to figure out how someone would do the voicemail. It's a lot easier to get voicemail.
Yeah.
Once I find out some other basics, I may reach out to you about if you're willing to set
Yeah.
it up or somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I'll volunteer for the card thingy and taking pictures, and I print stuff. My wife's in a dance company, so I print stuff I have stuff printed at the U.
Great.
But I don't know if that's anywhere in the price point, but
Yeah,
that's,
there may be.
We'll check in with
You
you.
can check with
Yeah.
our,
Yeah.
print shop
It's
too.
very
at the district
Because
office.
Yeah.
since it is promoting the district,
Right.
I think it's totally
Yeah.
positive thing, and they're very reasonable.
Okay.
All
I
important
think that,
conversations.
and that'll free up, there's been other interest in the outreach committee about doing other stuff with schools and neighborhood businesses, and so that might free us up to turn to that sooner, you know, starting next year. Yeah. Next item.
Okay, thank you. The staff lounge?
I did a little follow-up on that. I took a look at the lounge itself and talked to some people. I don't know if you got feedback in your office at all. Or wasn't that the exit ticket at your one of your meetings? Just give us ideas for what you want.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
And people filled out that form online, I don't know where.
Yeah, we have a form online, actually on my computer. Again, top of my.
It's hard to have a meeting on the first day.
Improv Bulldog mascot staff lounge.
So just some things
That
that I
one.
heard from discussions about that. At least 2 multi-arm lamps for better lighting around the chairs for reading and such things. I even used it, so I know. The sink that's in there, although you can use it, the faucet that comes out doesn't quite reach into the sinks very well. So they could use
Just
an
top
upgrade.
There's a plan there, it's just,
Okay,
on
and then, regarding the windows, they faced the inside with the rebuild that we did. So they have windows to,
Backstage.
yeah, so if there's anything that can be done to, maybe some better interior lighting to light from like the window to make it
So like
feel.
pretend natural light.
Yeah, perhaps, to get some, storage, like some cabinets or something, cause they've got like some like boxes and stuff in there for the photocopier machine, which
You're making it sound like a great place to go and get a minute of respite.
exactly my point, and here's what I was thinking, I don't know how expensive it would be, but, originally that printer was gonna go in the back office, but they installed the wrong outlet. So I would think that would be a simple fix that we could do, you know, or pay for them to get done,
I
so
would-
that they can move the printer out of their place where they're supposed to relax and be calm.
It's not that simple at all. I wish it were.
You know, if it was simple, it would have been done in our.
Well, I didn't know if it was a financial issue, you know, I mean, because it's not an urgent need or necessary.
It's not necessarily well, it's kind of financial, but it's also just district red tape to have electricians and plans and all that kind of stuff.
You have to have a committee for that.
Or pictures, plants, you know, that kind of thing to make it warmer and more cozy.
And we'll say again that it is mostly used by the support staff at ESPs, AEs, because I have an
They don't
office
have-
because I'm
they don't
lucky,
have
but
space.
they don't have their own office, they have their locker, and that's their space. And the classroom teachers, most other staff have a space where they can be, and it'd be really nice to support our support staff by giving them a pleasant place to eat lunch and take their break.
Is there all tables or anything in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are, okay,
Yes.
so there are tables and a
Like
few
tables and-
chairs, I assume?
Yeah, anyone who wants
Yeah,
to
it's
take
all
a
new
look
tables
at
and all new
it.
chairs
Yeah.
and a couple comfy little couches, but.
It's on the lower level in the middle of the hallway.
They've got an oven and
Where is
full-size
it?
refrigerator
It's on the
freezer in
lowest
there.
level in the middle of the hallway.
Which
Yeah.
is in the,
There's a
some
door
lamps,
on
some
either
lighting,
side.
some plants, and storage of things that maybe
Yeah,
somebody that
that
can.
The printer's not
Liquid.
moving.
The printer's very large and apparently it's the least functioning one in the building, correct? Should we just?
So is it used often?
Lamps,
It's
plants.
used a lot, because it's for big jobs.
I was thinking that when the idea first came up of, you know, window clings to sort of fake like landscape window clings, and if there's this lighting idea, then it could be kind of backlit. But the notion would have been, I photograph stuff, but we could solicit like area photographers if they want to submit to the school, and it could be kind of another get the school's name out there type of solicitation. And a choice of, I forget how many windows, 4 windows or 3 windows?
I didn't count
There's
them.
But I'm guessing we'd have the same electrical problem, because we can't just throw some uplights
Well,
in
no,
there.
the
So
lights part is a
we'd
separate
have to
thing.
have people come in and actually wire it properly, yeah.
The window clings.
We have our pop machine on an extension cord right now, so.
We can get that thing on. The multi-arm lamps, with maybe natural light bulbs in them, that we can have some stored away in there if they go out. The fake window, the clings on the window are totally doable. Plants, maybe fake plants.
There's no light.
What about like salt lamps or like glow lamps? That would be
A mirror, we also really like a mirror, so you can check your teeth before you leave the staff.
Right.
That's a hot topic. There are not very many mirrors in the building.
I mean, like, legitimately, there's still construction dust in the staff room.
So maybe we just get Mary Needs to come in and give it a real deep once over.
Stir up the mice.
There's always a counter.
Well, I wasn't saying.
10 minutes.
So I know there was a request too for like a set of dishes and silverware and things like that, so I didn't.
I thought the dishes happened, didn't it?
Well, that was taken care of last year.
Oh, great, sorry.
Yeah.
The silverware's gone.
The silverware's gone.
Oh.
Silverware disappears.
It's gone?
It's gone.
Oh, well, try to make it nice.
Is there a budget to let for
Well, we
someone
just
to,
wanted
like-
ideas so then we could decide, yeah.
We
It sounds like all of that could be bought at IKEA for.
That's what I was, one of the places I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's for the plates and bowls and dishes, or the.
Sure, but even storage.
I don't know how much
Or
storage is actually needed there.
lamps.
The cabinets just need to be
Cleaned, yeah, like some of the cabinets are just still taped over from construction, they're just, it's no one's job, and so it didn't get done, like, it just happens that way.
Unless Monica just.
Unless Monica takes a couple hours and does it.
I know, you took care of it, packing it up before the construction, that was awesome.
Anyway, so do we want to give this a dollar amount?
I think it would be great if somebody would price out some ideas and bring it back as a dollar amount.
Yeah, I will do that.
Would it be be safe to say that we could probably get like a short list of like essentials that need to happen, and then we could price those out for, like, just get like, I don't know, what would we say, about half a dozen to a dozen different items?
Yeah.
We just write those down to make sure we know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
That would
And
just
then
help
we could-
organize how we go about this.
Yeah, that seems very good.
That'd be great, and that could be
Yeah,
an
like
email.
mirror plans.
I'll reach out to Diego, I'm gonna email you to find out what that survey said.
Okay, I'm looking for it right now.
Don't be mismatched.
I'll bring all the ones I took from my one.
When
they send out
I mean, we just gave a couple links to Bridget.
Yeah, the multi-arm that you can adjust.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so I have these next two things, or the next thing on here is the infrastructure investments, but it's really just because we haven't really gotten that going, and it is something that we would like to do, is to spend some of the money on things that will last for a while, right?
But we're waiting for proposals.
Exactly, but at Family Arts Nights, what should we do for Family Arts Nights at that table to request those proposals from people?
I was hoping that the third graders would come through so we could use that as an example of these are the kinds of things we're talking about. I mean, I'm not saying I want a bulldog statue, but I'm just saying that I'd like to celebrate the I don't know if it's that much enthusiasm though, cause here we sit in December
Do
and
we
it's
have
going
like
forward.
an easel and cause I could make a little poster with a couple ideas and then have, I mean, that's not much of a start, but just to have people
No,
start
but it is a
thinking
start,
about
right?
it.
Like, what are some cool projects that the school could do, however you wanna phrase
Yeah.
that?
I mean, mural keeps coming up, I can put
Right.
bulldog statue.
But it's like,
if
is there
not-
something missing in our building
it
that
out.
you wish was really here,
Yeah.
that would last
That's right,
forever?
because I don't wanna I don't
And you
wanna
could
steer
use
people
the
either.
mosaics as an example.
Mm.
I mean, that was done, what, 30, 40, how many years ago? In the hallway?
Lindsay was a fifth grader, I don't know how old she is now. One of our teachers
Yeah.
has taught there, I'd say about 27
Yeah.
years ago.
So these are the kinds of things that we can participate in today that leave a legacy in the building.
Yeah, and I think that missing piece, right?
Yeah,
What's
what's
missing
missing.
here, what could we do here?
Right.
Would be really cool.
I will also say this is one of the thing, other than outreach in the neighborhood, that I was most excited about coming in, and so we start getting some ideas in December, but then once we get kind of past that, I would be interested in was the other idea I'd put up on the board, I think, about a committee to engage parents outside the PTO more in that decision. So would we pass Arts Night, but I'm happy to try.
But I like to
work on
engage
it.
the kids too.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, Sarah, so if you were gonna put out like a sheet, as you're saying, or something, just like a question like, what would you like to see for art that represents Bancroft, or something like a big question?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's some little, I
Doesn't
don't know
have
how
to be
artsy you
art,
are,
but-
but draw a little drawing of something, and then just
Yeah.
give a space where people can write something on there if they
Or you
want.
could even just use sticky notes.
Right,
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
use like notes. I can do it in Spanish and English. Can I reach out to somebody at the liaison to put in Somali?
I think
For
that's your
primary.
email address.
Okay, that'd be great.
So just fairness again, it's just infrastructure investment, but, and you said maybe not art, but it does seem like it is art and culture.
Yeah.
We're not really, like, some of the ideas aren't,
We're not talking about building an addition.
right, aren't a
That's
window
true.
somewhere or.
No.
No, we're just talking about something
Outlets for a
that's
printer.
hardware.
But it
like
could be, people have talked about,
Oh,
yeah.
could be.
People, though I will say most of the ideas that have come up that I've heard have been art, but they haven't all been, like, they've been potentially new instruments or visiting authors or, there's been kind of a range of things, not just
Right.
visual art. But, I guess I'm trying to think what ideas I've heard.
And I think
around
that that's
board.
the distinction we're trying to make in this area.
Mhm.
This area is like a physical something. So
Right.
it might be art, but it's
Mhm.
something physical that will last a long time in the building versus those other
Versus
ideas
those
are
other
wonderful,
things.
but that would come from
Okay.
different.
And
No,
that
that's a fair
otherwise
point.
would not be
Support area.
provided in the schools.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay.
I just sent you this email.
Thank you.
Straight on.
And I like the idea that, have something identifying the school, like the bulldog, whether it be a bulldog mural or bulldog statue, something, to move that along also.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that, really the committees, I've just put those on the bottom of the page for the past few months. And we have talked about a couple of them, but if there's one that we would really like to make sure, a topic from one of these areas that we would like to make sure is on January's agenda. You know, if we have something that's kind of ready to move toward in action.
I'm hopeful that the cultural celebrations effort could begin in January.
Yeah.
And I think it's, from my perspective, it's a matter of making some connections in the school to figure out what those pathways are to sort of engage with parents extracurricularly from here. Family Arts Night, where we're tabling, was going to be another opportunity to do basically that informal poll I did last time. It sounds like you've got some interest also in the notion, so we, between
sounds interesting. I don't know how.
yeah, between now and January, I could foresee being able to take an actual step in that direction.
Great.
So,
Okay.
so yeah.
Cool. I will put that on there. Any others? The plant sale will need to be on the agenda for next time?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm giving you wait time. Any others? It's on here. It's January 27th. And then, did you say the carnival is or is not on the calendar?
There's not a carnival.
Is there anything else on the calendar?
We have roller gardens, and we have, we're going back to the Science Museum this year.
Okay.
So, for those that were with us 2 years ago, we rented out the Science Museum, from, was it 4 to 7 or something like that?
Like very
4:30?
evening, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had the Science Museum just to ourselves, so it was just Bancroft kids and families. It was very, very fun, and it was free for everybody, not for us, but it was free for everybody.
Is that in April or?
I believe so.
Yeah. January's roller gardens everywhere.
Really got nothing.
Nothing.
Are we interested in the carnival? That could be.
When is the Science
April 25th.
Because I might be able to get the dinosaur. Have you heard about him?
No.
I'll show you a video.
Yeah, that's it for like family events and portfolio night, but other than that, we have just, roller garden. Probably, it's not on the calendar yet, but.
Last year we had performance nights for, was it first and second, third and fourth? And then, but those were separate, there wasn't a meal included, but now as it's part of Arts Night, the first and second graders, we could still have performance nights that are not considered family nights, that are just performance for those families.
Yeah.
We put calendar on
I
there?
just did it.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. So could that be for the full calendar year, so we can see like not only what's happening at the end of this
Yep.
particular school cycle, but also
Yeah.
the start in the spring as well? Cause I feel like coming in, it would be helpful to know those for planning purposes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When did you say, roller gardens is?
January 16, I believe.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the day
Yeah.
we don't have school next day.
Yeah, we don't have school on the 17th of January.
Also, just to, so last year was our first year at the roller thing, and you did a survey of that, right? I can't remember what the questions were, what was
The
it?
budget.
We did a number of questions. I believe we did a communications question, like how do you prefer to be communicated with, or how do you feel communication's going? And then it was a budget type question, like what kind of priorities do you wanna see,
So-
played out in our budget?
Maybe there should be a little bit of discussion either now or through an email chain on what, if there are committees or people that are interested in parent feedback on any topic whatsoever for metrics purposes. if you wanna put those on there that we can hand out, because that's pretty much the most well-attended thing that
Yeah,
we put
second
on,
most
right?
compared to the church meeting, so yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, and site council, I assume is involved in that too. Are you meeting before that?
We should have a meeting, no,
Okay.
not before then. We'll brainstorm some questions and send out to people, and look at what we already have.
Okay. Any final
Okay.
thoughts?
So I'll get emailed by the things I volunteered for, or should I follow up with someone?
Did you write your email in here?
I did, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Next time I'm gonna be on time, but I still might leave early.
Sounds good, thanks for
Thanks for
coming.
coming.
Thank you.
Did you say, or did somebody say they would do that handout, or was asking me to do it, about committees for roller garden night?
Get questions. Are you planning on doing a survey again?
Yes.
Okay, so we need,
We just need to contribute to your
If you
survey.
want to.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's if you want.
Yeah. I just think when it gets too, I mean, people wanna have fun too.
yep,
So I don't wanna ask too many questions
Yeah.
and too many diverging.
Scantron, 200 questions.
We could.
but if
Number
if any of the
2,000.
committees are at that stage, if you're on a committee or if you have any ideas or questions that we could ask about regarding any of these committees. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other thoughts? Okay.
Well, if anybody's willing to stay, I know that it's after, but we have a few minutes to get to know Norma a little bit, if anybody doesn't know Norma.
Sure. That'd be great. What would you like to know?
From the beginning.
I don't know, any questions? I mean,
Any kiddos in the school system?
yes, I do. She goes to Wyndham Spanish Immersion School, second grader. I only have one child, so, yeah. I think I was talking to you, right, that I said I've been in Minneapolis for 22 years. I started as a teacher assistant for 4 years, then I was a teacher for 14, then a coach, and now I'm an assistant principal. Yeah.
What did you coach?
Bilingual teachers.
Oh, okay,
So,
I was thinking
teacher
sports
coach.
coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you've been at Green Central for how?
So I started at Green Central as a teacher assistant. Then I went to Emerson as a teacher assistant. Then I got my license and I was at Emerson for a year. And then that's when they get laid off if you don't have enough years. So then I went to, after Emerson I went to Green again. Then I got laid off again. I went to Northrop. I was in Northrop for 6 years. Then I went to Whittier for 3 years. Then I went back to Green for 6. Oh, I'm getting really tired.
Wow. Been in the neighborhood.
Yes, and then I went to the district. I was part of the literacy department for the bilingual teachers, working with bilingual teachers. And after being there for a couple months, then I was admin TOSA, which is an administrative teachers on special assignment at Emerson for a year and a half. And I went back to Green. I've been at Green for 4 times. For a couple months, and now I'm here. So I'll be here until the end of June, and then we'll see what happens after that.
If there was one thing that you would like to say that you would have accomplished between now and June, like, what's something aspirational for your time here? That's not meant to be a loaded question, I'm just curious.
Welcome to your next interview.
Those stairs right here. Today was my first day. I think I would love to have a good relationship with students, get to know the students more, and really figure out what their needs are. Because I know a lot of our students have different needs, and we don't know what we don't know, right? So trying to figure out what they really need and help them. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're telling me something that I didn't know before about how you are placed here temporarily but not permanently or officially, and you don't make that decision and the district doesn't make that decision officially. right? Or how does that process work? You were just telling me that there is a involvement of parents.
So the reason why this is an interim position is because, basically the assistant superintendent asked me, it was a question, you wanna go there? So I say yes, right? But it was not a committee, like you were talking, there has to be a committee with parents, teachers, and administration, and then they have to do an interview for you to, you apply, and then you'll get placed in that school.
So that's a
process
committee.
be happening?
Yes, they're still working out how it works for assistant principals. 'Cause
Right.
in the past, they have not had like a full-on committee for assistant principals. So I know like when we interviewed Indiana, it was myself and a number of teachers and an AE that were on the interview committee. And so that was done at the building level. For principals, like when I got the principal job here at Bancroft, it was a whole parent committee, teacher committee, the associate superintendent was part of it, and so there was a more more robust committee of interviewers. And so I don't know exactly how it's gonna work out. It'd be great if Norma just, became the assistant principal. Today's day one, so.
I know.
You got a long way to go. So
It was a great day one, right? It was a great day one. I mean, I was busy, but it was good. I started to know students. I was pretty much in the hallways all day long. In the lunchroom. I did not go out for recess. I have to say I've been in Minnesota since '96 and I hate winter. I do. And so that's not my favorite thing to do, be outside. No, not at all. But it was really good. Yeah. Any other questions? I speak Spanish. A lot of kids ask me that question today. So, do you speak Spanish? Yes, I do.
And how many of them spoke to you in Spanish after that?
Quite a few.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. They were asking me like, ¿Cómo te llamas? And so. Yeah. And then I asked, do you have a Spanish class? Yes, we do. So.
Okay, well, thank you.
I forgot I was supposed to bring up another item. The parent asked me. I know, jeez. About the walking school bus or the opportunity to walk with some other adults or kids in the morning. I have a family who lives on 37th and 11th who have a couple little ones, and he was wondering if there's any families or other kids that are walking in that direction from there to here that could help. He's more concerned about his kindergartner. He's got some older kids, but they don't really pay attention to kindergartner. So anyways, he asked me to throw that out there because he was concerned about his kindergartner coming to school.
Andy lives right about there.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, I had raised that as an idea last year and then did nothing to follow up on it and still don't think I will probably get around to it this year, but I think at that level, unless there's, like you said, people that we know off the top of our heads that going to social worker or your counselor, what's her name? Kathy. Like, that's who had given us some ideas at the time, and I feel like she has a map in her head where everybody lives and just might be able to connect them with some other walkers. Unless and until anybody wants to take on like more of an organized process.
Yeah. I will put it on the agenda for next, it's something that's on.
I've done it several times, and it never goes particularly well, to be really frank.
So, to be clear about this though, it's like from the school down, it doesn't go well, but within the parent circle, it can go well, and has in the past. So if we're trying to set up a walking school bus, not me, when I worked here, I also helped, but when we tried to do it, it didn't work because we were just trying to pick up kids who were on the bus stops, and they were like, no, I'm just gonna ride the bus. Okay. But if there is families who wanna connect and walk together, that is a grassroots. I think that's what's gonna work as a grassroots.
It's like I think an out there idea at some point to like create a system where that would be easy to do every year.
Like if
is
people
there
told like what their routes are and.
there's something we could put on the website where people could do that and we connect with each other voluntarily, but that's.
Yeah.
There's a safe routes to school, and I can certainly
Yeah.
get that information for us, and there's a map available on what are the safest routes to school. And if someone who lives on one of those routes and walks their kids to school wanted to take that upon themselves to say, okay, well, we start here at this time, and we'll pick you up if we cross by your house at this time, and
Well, is that, if that resource exists, is that something that we can just get on as a fixed site resource? The resource for
Yes.
parents
Yeah.
thing? I mean, that'd be another way of getting content to drive people to make the
Yeah.
site more,
It's
give it more utilization.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it would be good to get that information out there for the, safe routes,
Yeah,
for the people that do walk. I mean, I drive, but not far close enough, but
yeah, but yeah,
it definitely makes sense.
we cross Chicago to get here every morning, so it's like, it's a extra special thing, but, you know, it's on 38th, which is,
38th is not.
Yeah, we
crossed
crossed
38th twice, cause we
Right.
go to daycare, and then we come back this way.
yeah.
It was
and-
awesome when the street was closed.
We could think about having like a particular coffee, tea, and ID, like sometimes you do theme mornings, if we did one that was for walkers, just
That's a
people who
great
already walk, so we could
Yeah.
meet each other, but again, I think at this point, I wouldn't be able to plan anything like that this school year.
Coffee Teen IB is this Friday, thanks for the plug. Second graders will be sharing their influential people. So,
exciting.
check it out.
Cool. Okay, any final thoughts before we? Okay, so Monday, January 27th, if you have anything to put on the agenda, you will be reaching out via email to everyone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if you ever have anything that you want to add, that you want to be discussed or talked about, please make sure that you respond to that and put it in. Cool? Alright,
Hope to see you on Friday or next Thursday.
excellent, thanks everyone.
Thank you.